What's up, Facebook? Ty Crandall here with Credit Suite, and today we're going to be diving into how to get credit lines. We're going to be taking a look at a lot of different ways you can get credit lines to actually get money for your business, even when you think you can't qualify for a bank loan. So if you've tried to apply for a bank loan and been denied, if you try to get a credit line and been denied, if you have credit issues, if you don't have collateral, if you don't have cash flow, we're going to still dive into all kinds of credit line options that can work for you to fund your business. Michael, hey, thanks for coming in. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about some brand new released credit lines today as well. One we just discovered like 2 days ago that we'd never seen before that's really easy to qualify for even if you have credit issues and a lot of those type of things. We're going to talk about credit lines you can secure within 48 hours. And again, we're going to talk about credit lines even if you have credit issues, even if you don't have collateral, even if you don't have cash flow, you're still able to get approved. Even stuff as a startup that you're able to get approved for. So if you're interested in getting a credit line to fund your business, to set yourself up right for 2018, you're in the right place. And today, we are not going to go to the whiteboard. We're actually going to be diving into our chalkboard today to go through everything. So let's take a look. So today, we're going to be talking about how to get a credit line for your business, even when you think you can't get a bank loan. Okay, so when we talk about credit line, we're ultimately talking about a credit line. And Michael says, can I use my PayPal account if I'm doing credit repair card swipes? Yeah, you sure can. Stripe and PayPal have good merchant cash advance loans that you can use. They're pretty easy to qualify if you're doing some decent volume through either one of them. So credit line, it's basically an agreement between a lender and a borrower setting a max amount to be borrowed. So it's not like a loan, it's where they're going to give you a max amount that you can actually borrow against. Michael, what's up? What's up, man? Hello. Thanks. Happy holidays to you. Thanks for coming in. So business credit lines have a lot of advantages, and this is one of the biggest advantages that they have. It's flexibility, because it gives you the ability to use it, reuse it again and again, unlike loans. Now with credit lines, you're only paying interest on what you actually owe. So what's nice about this is you can get a credit line for 50 grand, for example, only use 5 and only pay payments and interest on the 5 of the 50 that you're actually using. Now, even as much as people want credit lines, they're actually pretty rare and hard to find and qualify for. So we're going to talk about a lot of different that you can actually qualify when you can't qualify your bank, and that's the biggest problem. Look, the number one product that people come in and ask us about is credit lines. Everybody says, I want a credit line. I don't want a loan. I don't want an expensive merchant cash advance. What I want is an actual credit line. The problem is credit lines, real credit lines, are very, very, very hard to find unless you have really good credit, really good financials, and collateral. If you don't have those, it's pretty tough to get approved. But today, again, I'm going to dive into a lot of different options where you can get approved even if you don't have those. But let's start at the beginning. Let's start with SBA. Because if you do have good credit, if you do have consistent cash flow and good tax returns and collateral, SBA offers some great credit lines, and they call them cap lines. This is their umbrella product. Now with SBA cap lines, they have a lot of different kind of cap lines that are available. You can get loans or lines up to $5 million, and they help meet short-term and cyclical needs. So for example, you can get a seasonal line, which works for you if you're in a seasonal industry. You can get a contract line if you're a contractor. You can get a builder line if you're a builder. So all in all, SBA has 5 different cap lines you can use. You can get credit lines or loans if you do have good credit, if you do have cash flow, if you do have tax returns, if you do have some kind of collateral. It's a great way to go. And you can get any of these funding products through creditsuite.com/get funding. Okay, we can get you approved fairly quickly. Now, Louise says, where can I talk to someone? Give us a ring. Here's our actual number here. You can schedule a consultation at any given time. You can give us a ring and we'll answer. Now, we did a webinar 2 days ago, so we're overwhelmed on the phones right now, but you'll be able to get us right at that phone number. And then if any of these funding products make sense, including SBA, there's exactly where you can go. But let's be honest, a lot of times you may not have what you need to get a cap line. Well, then you may want to look at an Sba Express program. With this program, you need to be pretty well qualified, still have good credit. You might not need as much collateral, but they're going to want you to have cash flow. You can get up to 350 grand. You can get loans and lines under 25,000, don't need collateral. Above it, you do need collateral. So you can even get up to 25 grand with no collateral with this Sba Express program. Okay, but again, with SBA, with 1 and 2, these do require pretty good credit. They do require consistent cash flow and tax returns. Under 25 grand here, you don't need collateral, otherwise you will, and you might not have all those things. So let's talk about a lot of options that will work if you don't have these actual things. Jeffrey says, inbox me, I want to claim my credit. We don't deal with consumer credit repair. There's some people on here who could probably help you with consumer credit. But if you're interested in building your business credit, we can definitely help you there. Here's the phone number where you can actually give us a ring and we can talk to you a little bit more about that. So although these are great programs, 5 SBA cap lines, Sba Express, these 6 programs are fantastic. You might not have the cash flow, credit, or collateral you need. So let's talk about some options you don't need that. Now, there's also a lot of private investors out there that also offer credit lines for 50 to 250 grand. Now, these ones have one main requirement. You need to have pretty good credit. They're going to want to see tax returns as well, and about a 720 FICO score. But again, what's nice about these is they're much easier to get than SBA. So let's say you don't have the collateral, you don't have business credit, some of these other things SBA wants to see. Well, then private investor credit lines are a great way to go because, and again, there's some of them aren't even private investors. Some are lenders like Lending Club, for example, okay? Funding Circle has a great one of these. There's a lot of different kind of programs you can get out there with these kind of credit lines where you don't have to meet the same requirements as SBA. You still have good credit, you still have cash flow and tax returns, but you don't have collateral and you don't need it for this program, and it's easier and faster to get than SBA programs. Now, another program, let's say you have inventory. Well, you can also use existing inventory as collateral to get a credit line, and it's a great way to go because the rates are pretty low as 5%. Now, you've got to have a pretty good chunk of inventory to be able to qualify, but there's no credit check on this. So you can get approved even with bad credit. There's no cash flow requirements either. All you need is existing inventory. So if you dumped a bunch of money into inventory and now you're short on cash, this is a great way to actually get the money that you need to be able to actually access more. Now, there's another great one, and there's 2 programs here, and this is my favorite. When it comes to credit lines, I'm jumping to 6, and I know I'm going from 4 to 6 for a reason. There's 2 programs here, this one and this one. I'm going to show you both. Now, the first one it's called Unsecured Business Financing. Now, this one is where you can actually get consumer credit cards, basically, instead of actual lines, but they have cash out capabilities. So stick with me and I'll show you how this works. Now, with this first program, if you want the personal cards, you only need a 650 score, not a 680. With a 680, you're going to be able to get business credit cards. Andrew says, hey, good morning. When we bring a client comes in for funding, do we get paid every time they come back for more funding? Yes, we do. I heard on average people come back for 3 loans. They do with a lot of them, including number 8, which I'll go over with you in a minute. And if you're a partner with us, yes, we pretty much split the funding fee with you, where you get paid 50% of what we get paid. And then when they come back and renew, you can also get paid. You'll also get paid there as well. So unsecured business financing. What's nice about this program is there's 2 ways you can go. You can get personal cards, consumer cards. You can also get business cards. Consumer cards report to the consumer reporting agencies. Business cards report to the business reporting agency. So what's nice is you can actually get this credit, build credit with DMB, Experian, and Equifax. Build your business credit reports. And if you know anything about business credit building, you can use this to skip step 3. Instead of getting vendors like Uline, Quill, and Granger, you basically can use this program as well. Instead, you don't need step 3 because you're actually going to get about 5 to 8 different credit lines with cash out capability. So what this means is it means they are really credit cards, but you get the benefit of credit lines because you can physically take the cash out on them. And what else is nice about this program is that you can get 0% rates for 6 to 18 months. So this is by far one of my favorite programs, and here's why. 1, you build your business credit while you get money. So you can get up to $150,000 in financing even as a startup. It's no doc. There's no tax returns. There's no bank statements needed for approval. It's no doc. So even if you don't want to show financials, you have a bad bank statements, you don't have good tax returns, you're a startup, you can still get approved and get up to $150 grand. You're getting it through 5 to 8 different individual accounts. This creates competition, which helps you get the limits even higher on all of those accounts. And about 5 of them will report to the business credit reporting agencies. So not only are you getting up to $150,000 in real usable money, but you're building your business credit at the same time. And here's what's really cool. You can get this program at 0% rate for 6 to 18 months. So not only can you get it as a startup, you can get 0% for 6 to 18 months, and you can take cash out on this at 0%. So you could take 100% of the cash out. If you get approved for $100,000, you could take $100,000 out of the lines at 0%. It combines the best benefits of credit cards with 0% rates for 6 to 18 months. The best part of credit lines where you could take the cash out, and it combines them in one program, which is why I love this program. So you need to have utilization under 40% to get approved. You've got to have a 680 FICO score or a guarantor with the 680 FICO. Grandpa, grandma, friend, family member, potential investor, anybody can come in as a guarantor. If you're using your credit and a guarantor, you'll get even more money. You should also have less than 6 inquiries in the last 6 months. Now, you need to have some kind of open revolving accounts or a mortgage on there or an auto loan to be able to get approved. Now, again, you can come in and get consumer cards with only a 650 credit score, 60% utilization, and it allows for more inquiries. The problem with that is it reports to the consumer reporting agencies instead of the business reporting agencies. So with this program, what happens is you'll get your pre-approval will give you 2 options. It gives you standard and business cards that report to the consumer and the business reporting agencies, or you could just get the business cards. They'll give you 2 ranges of funding you can get. What else is nice about this is you get same day approval. So if this is something that you're interested in, for example, and you give us a ring, then what we do is we send it to the finance source. Within 1 to 2 hours, they will give you a pre-approval with no inquiries on your credit report to tell you how much you can get approved for. If you do move forward and they do apply because you signed all the documents, then there will be inquiries on your credit report. But again, there's no inquiries just to find out how much you can get approved for. So if you've got a 650 to 680 credit score, it's worth checking this out. It really is my favorite funding program, and one we do. I can't even tell you how many people we fund on this program because they can't get a lot of other different types of financing. So alternative lenders, and we talked about some of these guys, Lending Club, Funding Circle, for example, they offer programs where you can get 50 to 100 grand. You do need tax returns. You need about a 680 credit score for these, and sometimes they'll ask for a P&L or balance sheet. Okay, but under 100 grand in a lot of cases they won't ask for that. So that's another really good funding option that you may enjoy. Now, another great funding option is called Revenue Lending Credit Line. So with these, you need to have about $10,000 a month in average deposits in your bank account. You can get approved for about a $20,000 credit line. They're a little bit harder to qualify for than merchant cash advances, but it's not based on credit. With even horrible credit, you can still get this. Okay, you just need to use the funds to actually work on the business, for the business and no other reason. So it's basically an unsecured cash advance, and to get approved, all you need is a 500 FICO and 1 year in business. I love this program because this program will allow you to get a credit line even with bad credit, even with no collateral. All you need is consistent revenue of about 10 grand a month or more to get approved. So if we look at what we've looked at so far, SBA requires good credit, cash flow, and collateral. Sba Express requires good credit and cash flow. You can get approved with no collateral. Private investors will give you money if you have good credit and tax returns. If you have inventory, this option's fantastic. If you have a good credit score, 680, or a guarantor, even if you have no collateral and no cash flow, there's 2 programs with this at 0% up to 150 grand you can get that are phenomenal. This one's based on you just having revenue. Your credit doesn't matter. Your collateral doesn't matter. So we've looked at ones where if you have collateral, you can get approved. We've looked at ones that just because you have cash flow, you can get approved. We've looked at ones just because you have credit or a guarantor, you can get approved as well. And then there's a lot of variable options where if you have good credit and financials. This one, number 3, and then also this one. Now this one is a new up-and-comer. This one just came on the scene this year, and I love it, love it, love it. There's no credit pull at all. They don't even look at your credit at all. There's no credit pull. What they need is you need either $100,000 a year in annual revenue or account receivables. If you have customers that owe you money or $100,000 in revenue, you can get approved. What happened is the lender does an automated review. They plug into your bank statements or your tax software like Xero or QuickBooks. They automatically approve you in about 2 hours, and you fund the next day within about 24 hours. The other cool thing about this is that you can get up to $100,000. I put $10,000, but it's actually $100,000, and your rates are as low as 0.5% to 7% per week outstanding. So I got about this because this is one of the coolest programs I've ever actually seen ever. So a buddy of mine approached me, and he's in credit repair, which is a high-risk industry. It's high risk because he's in financial services. Everything in financial services is high risk. So he came to me and said, look, I want to get a merchant cash advance. I need to get like $30,000 or more. We said, okay. I said, look, I can't do that to you because merchant cash advances are pretty expensive. Let me try this credit line for you first, and we'll see what happens. We got him instantly approved for $6,000. I had him submit his tax returns, and they bumped his approval up to $30,000. His rate is 0.5% for every week he borrowed the money. So he needed to borrow the money for about 2 weeks. He borrowed it. He paid 1% interest on the money he borrowed. He was looking for something that would have cost him 40% through a merchant cash advance, and he's in a high-risk industry and got a rate of 1%. Now, you can keep this money outstanding for 24 weeks, and you pay 0.5% for every week it's outstanding. So, max, you're paying less than 5% interest on this program. And there's no credit check. None. No consumer credit check, no business credit check. We have a lot of our clients go in and get this program because there's no credit check. So, hey, why not? Get this on top of the many other programs you can get. Now, here's what you need to know. 1, if you go and get approval, it's going to be small. It'll be less than $10,000. If you submit tax returns and your tax returns look even decent, then they'll bump it up usually to 15, 20, 30 grand, all the way up to 100 grand. Now, Michael says also unsecured business financing, which credit reports do lenders use to make decisions? All of them. Is it one of our consumer reports, or will they pull a tri-merge? They usually won't pull a tri-merge. What they'll do is look at 1 or 2 of your actual credit reports. Some sources with unsecured business financing look at Equifax only. Some look at Experian only. Some look at TransUnion only. Some look at 2 or the 3. So to answer your question, Michael, it really does vary depending on the actual cards that they're getting you with this program. So again, huge fan of this program. All you need is account receivables or $100,000 in revenue, one of the other. If you have one of the other, they do not at all pull your personal credit, and approval within 24 hours and funding within 48. Really, really, really super fast. So you can also get corporate credit lines. So this is where you build your business credit using vendor credit, store credit, get fleet credit cards. Then you get Visa cards, MasterCards, American Express lines with no guarantee. Now, this is when you follow the steps to build your business credit. So if you set up your business credibly, then you came in and got your DUNS number, then you built some initial credit. Maybe you used Uline, Quill, and Granger to get your 5 accounts. Maybe you came in and used that unsecured business financing program we just talked about, where you can get up to $150,000 in cash credit lines that report to the business reporting agencies. Whether you get 5 accounts using this method or 5 accounts using this method, as long as you have 5 accounts, then you move on to store credit, IKEA, Apple, Dell, etc. And once you have a total of 10 accounts, then you can start to get to the credit lines. Visa, American Express, MasterCard. Okay, and I'll give you an example. My handwriting's horrible, but in the last 2 weeks, one of our clients got approved for a $20,000 credit line with Chase. And just yesterday, one of our clients got a $100,000 credit line with PNC Bank. She did it because she built her business credit. Credibility, DUNS number, got initial accounts, got tons of store credit. Now, along the way, she also got a bunch of approvals like this. She got a Best Buy $40,000 approval. She got a fleet credit card here for $40,000. So she got a bunch of individual limit, high limit credit cards as high as $75,000. Then once she got $40,000, $50,000, $75,000 limit accounts, then we were able to get her approved for a PNC credit line with no personal guarantee. $100,000 with no personal guarantee. Another one of our clients did the same thing through Amex, no personal guarantee. To do it, you have to build your business credit, but In building your business credit, you get a lot of credit along the way without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. And then this puts you to a point where you can start getting $20,000 to $100,000 credit lines without a guarantee when you actually build your business credit. This is my daughter's version of this Facebook logo right here. She's a little artist. Okay, so this is a great option. Now, there's one option I don't have on the board because it's too new to even put on the board. Just discovered it 2 days ago. We've applied for it because we test all this stuff out before we actually tell you anything about it. And here's how this works. You can get up to a $150,000 credit line. You need a 620 FICO score to get approved. You need $20,000 a month in deposit, so about $240,000 a year in revenue. And you can't have a bunch of non-sufficient funds. They want less than 2 non-sufficient funds or overdrawing the bank account the current month you apply. They want less than 5 in the 2 months before you apply. So if you don't have a bunch of non-sufficient funds, you have revenues over $240,000 a year and a 640 FICO, this is a really awesome brand new credit line that just rolled out that I think is really going to do awesome things. You have a year to pay it back, and your interest rate is 0.5% to 1.5% per week outstanding. So very low interest. If you're borrowing this money on a shorter term, you literally can spend less than 1 or 2% to get approved. So I'm going to go back and do a review because I know a lot of you just came in. If any of this makes sense, feel free to give us a ring. We can get you approved for all these credit lines and more. And just know that we never charge you a dime to get money. Lenders and credit issuers will charge you money. I just talked to you about some rates and terms. We never charge you a dime. Some lenders give us an actual referral fee. That's how we get paid, but we still get you better pricing than you'll get on your own because we place so much volume, we get discounts. So if any of this makes sense, feel free to give us a ring. You can also get pre-approved right here. CreditSuite.com/get funding. So let's do a review. SBA, they have 5 different cap lines. If you're a seasonal interester, a contractor, a seasonal industry, a contractor, a builder, all different kind of needs. You need good credit to get it. You need to have cash flow to get it. You need collateral to get it, but you can get loans up to $5 million. Sba Express, you only need collateral if you're borrowing more than 25. Under 25, you don't need collateral, and you can get approved up to $350,000. This one again requires financials and good credit for approval. Another one with financials and good credit are through private investors. It's much easier than these two. You don't need collateral. You can get up to $250,000 if you have tax returns that show some kind of profit. Look, I'll give you a really important tip, a super important tip. A lot of funding in the business space is based on you showing tax returns with some kind of profit, even if it's a small profit. So a lot of people think that they want to write off everything and show a loss at the end of the year. You can do that. Great. Saves you money on taxes. Here's the drawback. When it comes to business financing, just having tax returns that show some kind of profit is the difference between you getting a lot of long-term loans and credit lines or not. So I'm giving you some insight because it's tax time and you're about to make decisions that will determine your ability to get financing here in the year to come. And I will tell you that a lot of these options are based on, here, I'll show you. This one, if you have tax returns that show a profit, you can get approved for. Tax returns with a profit, you can get approved for. Tax returns with a profit, you can get approved for. Tax returns with a profit, you can get approved for. So of the 11 or so we looked at, 1, 2, 4 of them are based on tax returns with some kind of profit. So think about this. Keep this in mind. As you're filing taxes this year, having tax returns that show some kind of profit is really the difference maker with getting access to a lot of different kind of financing, just so you know that. So SBA cap lines, 5 different credit lines. You need good credit. You need financials or tax returns that show a profit and collateral to qualify. SBA Express, good credit, cash, or tax returns are needed, but you don't need collateral if you're borrowing under 25. Over 25 to 350, you will. Okay, right here, easier to qualify for private investor money than it is with SBA and with conventional banks, but you're still going to need a 680, 700, even 720 credit score in some cases to get approved. You can get approved up to $250,000. They're usually going to want full doc, P&L, balance statement, and they're going to want tax returns as well. Do you have inventory? If you have inventory worth $500,000, you get a low interest rate credit line using that inventory as collateral. Unsecured business financing, my personal favorite. You get to 5 to 8 different credit cards with credit line capability. You can take the cash out of these accounts. Get 0% interest rates for for 6 to 18 months and get up to 150 grand in financing. You don't need collateral. You don't need cash flow for approval. So even as a startup, you can get it. You're going to need a 680 FICO to get approved or a guarantor of the 680 FICO. Can be family member, can be friend, can be potential investor. You have this one thing, you can get this even as a startup and get up to 150 grand at 0% and take the cash out. It's phenomenal. Now, if you don't have a 680, with even a 650, you can qualify for the consumer cards. They don't report to the business reporting agencies like the main program it does, but you can still get access to a lot more credit than you're able to get on your own through consumer cards. Remember, with this program, they'll offer you business and standard cards, standard or consumer cards. They'll also just offer you business cards. You can go with either one, and this one you can get approved in about 1 to 2 hours. Unsecured line of credit. This is through alternative lenders like, for example, Lending Club and Funding Circle, where you can get up to 150 grand if you have tax returns. Sometimes they want a P&L and balance sheet. Usually you're going to have about a 680 FICO to get that one. Revenue lending. This is not credit-based. You can get it with a 500 FICO. And you can also get it with absolutely no collateral if you have 10 grand a month or revenue or more. You'll typically get approved for about 20,000. They'll give you a loan and a credit line, and the credit line's about 20 grand. One of my other favorites that just came on the scene this year, if you have 100,000 in revenue or account receivables, you can get approved with no credit check, none. No consumer credit check whatsoever. They do an automated review of either your bank statements or your accounting software like QuickBooks and give you an approval up to 100 grand with the lowest rates you're ever going to see ever. 0.5% to 7% per week outstanding. It comes down to less than 5% if you borrow the money over 24 weeks. Corporate credit lines. This is where you can get counts like we just had a client get through PNC Bank by building your business credit. They came in, built the credibility, got the DUNS number, built initial credit using credit like Uline, Quill, Granger. Then after 5 accounts of reporting, get store credit, Chevron, Staples, Office Depot, most major retail stores, without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. Once they have 10 accounts, then you can start to get fleet credit, Visa, American Express, MasterCard. We just had a client get 20 grand line with no PG. PNC yesterday just got approved to client for 100 grand with no PG. Okay, as well as even just had a client get 100 grand through Amex with no PG. You got to build your business credit to get this guy, but you can get it without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. And my other one also has to do that it's not on the board because it just came out. 620 FICO score to get approved, 20,000 a month in deposits into your business bank account, and they will give you approved. They plug into your online bank statements or bank account and give you an approval within 24 hours, fund within 48 hours, and their rate is 0.5% to 1.5% per week outstanding. You have a year to pay back the money. I love it because you get it with only a 620 FICO, so you can get it with even average credit. So a lot of different options that we talked about today, 10 different ways. Actually, let's be fair, I've talked about more than 10. I showed you my 11th, and this one actually has 5 cap lines, so we actually talked about like 17, but still there's at least 10 options here. If you have good credit, opens up this option, opens up this option, opens up this option, opens up this option and this option. If you have bad credit, you can still get this. You can still get this one. You can still get this one. Even with credit issues, you can still get this one. Half of them you can still get with credit. If you have collateral, like inventory, you can get this one. You can get these two with collateral. And you can also get this one if you have account receivable. So a bunch of different options. So if you want to get approved, if you want to talk more about the money you can get or the steps to building business credit, give us a ring. Here's our number, 877-600-2487. Michael says, for unsecured business, with the 0% APR and expires 6 to 18 months, is it possible to roll over the balance and credit limits into new cards? You absolutely can. And we also will teach you how to get those limits extended, or in 6 months, we then help you get even more credit at 0%. So you can perpetually get more credit at 0%. 877-600-2487, creditsuite.com/get funding to get approved for. Remember, we never charge you a dime of money to to help you get financing, period. If you want a loan or credit line, we help you through the process. We get paid because some lenders pay us a referral fee. It's as simple as that. Okay, but it's not more expensive to go through us to get to the lenders because it's actually the opposite. We do so much volume with this program that we have dedicated underwriters. We have volume discounts that we pass on to you. So we get you better terms than you'll get on your own, and it costs you no money to work with us. And the best part is unlike a bank, we deal with all of this financing. We deal with SBA. We deal with private investors. We deal with alternative lenders. We deal with sources that do unsecured and have all these kind of crazy, awesome credit lines. We help you with the whole process of building business credit. We deal with high risk, bad credit score credit lines as well. We deal with all of this so you can get the most amount of money in one place. Andrew, thank you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the shares. So if you have any questions, you want to talk more about getting funding, 877-600-2487. Even if you don't work with us, now you know what's possible for your business. You know a little bit more about 10 plus credit lines that you can get. So if you got value from this, come back next Thursday at 11. This is the last time you will see these whiteboards, even though I don't think we ever got a chance, Mr. Facebook, to cover that topic. We're wiping out the whiteboard. We're wiping out the chalkboard. It all goes away. That's why these are my new whiteboard instructions right here. This all goes away Saturday, and we will have all boards, all new topics. The new topics into the next 4 months will be about building business credit. We're getting back to building business credit. A lot of you have asked. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk a lot more about getting loans over the next 4 months too. Other ways to get financing in if you have credit issues and other things that can prevent you from getting financing at your bank. If this makes sense, feel free to give us a ring, 877-600-2487. That's 877-600-2487. You can also schedule time to talk with us or give us a ring. And if you just want to get pre-approved and talk to our finance team, you can go to creditsuite.com/get funding. And don't forget, we've got a great free guide on building business credit at creditsuite.com/Facebook. Look forward to seeing you all next Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the shares. It means a lot. I'll see you next Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern. Have a great day. Have a great week. See you next week, everybody. Thanks.